This is TO Sports Talk, episode 21. Regular time, regular place. It feels good, man.
It is nice to be back.
Obviously, James Price, host of TO Sports Talk. Evan Brown, how you doing today?
It's a great day. Hot as heck
in the studio right now.
Oh my God, it's
That's
crazy outside.
Sure.
Nice outside though, and it's great to be back regular time, as we said.
Right, but before we start off with Toronto sports, we want to give our condolences to Ray Emery. If you haven't heard, very sad news out of the hockey world. This was yesterday morning. Goaltender, or no, this was on Sunday. Former goaltender Ray Emery drowned. This was in his hometown of Hamilton, Ontario. Basically, he dove in a lake, and then he didn't come back up. So our condolences go out to him and his family, his friends, his former teammates.
All the friends. It's crazy when you have a friend like that. Just all of a sudden.
Rich Clune said it best himself. He was playing, I think, in a charity game. This was Saturday or Friday night with him, and then all of a sudden he's gone forever. So guys, count your blessings every day. Live every day to the fullest. And obviously, he was a goaltender for the Senators with the Flyers mainly, but he was a Toronto Marley. So at one point.
Yeah.
Right? So we just kind of wanted to say that first, get that off our chest, because it's something that we had to say before we talk other sports, if you will, Toronto sports. So me and James' condolences to his, again, family, friends, and it's terrible.
You can only imagine how hard that is.
It's terrible.
Being, especially with family, right? Talking to him the day before, or even the day of, and then all of a sudden, bang, that's it.
35 years of age.
That's crazy. Put that in perspective. What, 20? We're 22 and 21 years old. That's 10 years, 13 years away.
It could happen to anyone. So, guys,
ridiculous.
Right. So,
it's insane.
Yeah. So, guys, count your blessings and make sure every day you live it up to the fullest. But, anyways,
onto a more lighter topic. Well, I wouldn't say that with the Blue Jays, but onto a more lighter topic, I guess. The Toronto Blue Jays, for first half of the season is done. It's All-Star weekend, or I guess it's All-Star break right now. And I'm going to rant about the home run derby and how useless that thing is. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about possible Blue Jays being moved to the deadline, because the trade deadline is approaching.
And also for the Leafs, we're going to talk about signings that has happened. Rasmus Sandin has signed his 3-year entry-level contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And also Andreas Johnsson signing a pretty surprising contract, if you ask me, but we'll definitely be breaking down those two contracts, especially in around the league. We're going to be talking about, obviously, teams, signings, maybe possible trades, so around the hockey world.
And for the Raptors and basketball, the Summer League is going on right now, and the Toronto Raptors had a terrible, I guess you want to call it, regular season to the Summer League. And in the playoffs, they're in round 3. They're in the quarterfinals right now. OG Anunoby leading the charge. Speaking of OG, happy birthday. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, OG.
And, we'll be talking about the Raptors Summer League. Obviously, Alfonso McKinney got cut. We'll have to wait and see what happens when the Raptors square off, I guess, in September and October. And we'll talk about around the league signings, remaining free agents, Isaiah Thomas, the main name that is gone now. And we'll break all that down a little later on in the finale of the podcast before questions, obviously.
And then questions, obviously. So let's get this puppy rolling with the Blue Jays.
Now, it's All-Star weekend right now, and
you have to rant, or do you want to do it now or a little bit later?
I want to do it now because I'm bored. It's boring. Last year when we watched the All-Star game, when we watched the home run derby, you were waiting to see Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton go at it and hit 500-foot bombs and just start crushing baseballs.
Is that happening now?
Now your best home run guy is Jesus Aguilar.
Who?
Exactly. Yeah. And he was out in the first round of the Derby as well. Bryce Harper, the hometown kid, the hometown favorite. Oh, you want to see him do well. That's great.
Yeah.
But really, you look at the way this home run derby shaped up. Going into it, I'm like, you know what? I'll start watching it, and I'll kind of see how I feel and go from there. But after the first couple rounds, I'm like, no thanks. Because I through the first round or two, the farthest hit ball was by Rhys Hoskins, and he only hit it 470 feet. So we're so used to seeing 500-foot bombs from Judge and Stanton. We didn't see any of those.
No.
It's supposed to be entertaining. And I know these guys don't want to get hurt, and I know that. But then what's the point? I might as well go in the home run derby if no one wants to get hurt.
Okay, now, would you rather them go to the home run derby but not give 100%, or them not showing up at all? Because if it was for me, I wouldn't even want them to show up at all if they're not going to give 100. If they are not going to give 100%.
Well, then don't have a home run derby. Then if no one's going to show up,
you can't take it out though.
Then you got to put something else in, like skills competition, or you know how they do it with the NBA.
It's their choice though. If they do want to participate, and like you said, what happens if I don't know, Aaron Judge goes, he out for the entire season because of a home run derby.
Yeah, obviously.
I understand why.
Of course.
Right?
But I mean, then what's the point of having an All-Star game if no one's going to show up because they're scared to get injured? Why did Sidney Crosby never go to the All-Star game? Because he was quote-unquote injured all the time.
Well, so you're talking about either All-Star game you're talking about now or the home run derby?
Both. I mean, it's the home run derby was boring this year, other than Bryce Harper winning it all in Washington. That's about it. Yeah. You know, that was really about it for me. I mean, I know a lot of people felt the same. I saw it all over Twitter and all over Instagram. People were just bored out of their mind, and I don't blame them. It was just, what name were you looking forward to seeing? Bryce Harper? Okay, well, there you go. You had one guy. Baez, Schwarber? I mean, yeah, they're good players, but I mean, you don't look at them as big home run crushers.
No, you're just looking at them as kind of swingmen kind of guy. Like, they're good, don't get me wrong, but they're not that elite star.
The home run leader in the major leagues, I think it is, J.D. Martinez didn't even go. So you have three of the biggest home run guys, Judd Stanton and Martinez, they didn't even go.
I mean,
you look at why'd they go last year? Why did Stanton and Judge go last year?
I mean, maybe it's possibly that they need, or if not want, a rest, because this is technically a rest for them. Right?
Well, Judge is there. He's at the All-Star game. You saw him there. He was watching the game. He's on the field.
But an All-Star game is less work than actually a home run derby, in my opinion.
I don't know about that. You're playing an actual game.
Home run derby, you're hitting a lot.
Right. But
you're to the plate a lot. I'm thinking that a home run derby would be a lot more physically demanding than an All-Star game. They're not going to try 100. And that's with any All-Star game sport. Basketball All-Star game, they don't try their hardest, but it's fun because it's fun.
Right. But do you see guys just not show up?
They obviously have the option to, but if
they all go. They always go. Have you ever seen Curry, Durant, LeBron, James, all these guys miss just because they don't want to get hurt? No, they all go and have a good time.
Same thing with the Pro Bowl for football. You see a lot of these star players go to these because how often is it that all the star players come together and form a team?
It doesn't happen often.
Well, it's once a year.
Well,
with the
obviously,
All-Star
but
game.
I'm saying,
no, it doesn't.
You know, with this, you're missing three of the big bombers.
And plus, we're not asking you to try your hardest.
No, go out there and have a good time. That's what it's supposed to be.
But if they do have a good time, you'll have the critics being like, oh, well, they're not trying their hardest, blah, 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 blah. So they're just thinking, well, why even show up if I'm going to get criticized for how I play?
Honestly,
it's a tough situation. It is a very tough situation that the players are in. So I don't know.
I look at like you put it perfect perspective about basketball and football. About those guys go, no matter what, they go.
Hockey too, to a certain
for the most part, hockey players go.
But see, the difference with hockey is that the Winter Olympics sometimes are in.
Well,
that
affects it sometimes. Yeah,
it does. But other than that, other than Crosby, I mean. You do have a lot of the star players going to these types of things just to have fun, especially in an All-Star game. So, right, and I talked about this with you prior to this podcast about if because before whoever won the game got home field advantage.
And I think that's stupid. Because I know you. Well, no, because then
that's how they make it competitive.
Exactly, but that's how people get hurt. Then, right? We're talking about having a good time and having a good. You know, what if the NBA made that a thing? If the Eastern Conference won it, they'd have home court in the finals.
Right.
They'd be playing hard. And what if some guy twists his leg, breaks his leg, and that's it for the season?
So you're saying that you wouldn't want it to be competitive?
It's supposed to be a fun time.
Yeah.
The NBA, for the most part, does a good job. The dunk contest, again, for the most part, is pretty good.
We're talking about the games. The games itself are pretty fun.
I'm talking All-Star Weekend. Weekend as a whole. Because for baseball, you get the Derby, which was useless for me yesterday. And the All-Star game, I mean, you're just going to see for the most part, pitchers duel.
I think for the skills competition, it's more like, I mean, it's weird because for the actual All-Star game, I think it's more fun. Fun for the players just to have a good time, but... For the competitive aspect, no. I think that the skills competition, it's a tad bit more, competitive out there.
Because I look at things like the NHL, you've got the accuracy shooting, you get the hardest shot, you got the fastest skater, you got the breakaway challenge where people
And
try
they
their
are
fancy
trying.
moves.
They
and
are
they have the
trying.
All-Star game where they try their fancy moves and stuff.
Yeah.
The NHL and the NBA, when it comes to All-Star games, I think are fairly similar in a sense.
Yeah, they are.
But baseball just, I don't know, I just don't have the same zing to it at all. It really doesn't do anything
for me. You saw last
for
year
me.
when Judge hit that crazy amount. Was that last year or the year before?
Well, I think actually he had less home runs last year, but he won it last year. But
it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, he had ridiculous. Both years he had a monster home runs.
Even
like I said, 500-foot home runs. Those are what people go to see. They go to see they go to the home run derby to see big guys crush baseballs. Not guys that are pretty good. They have 20 home runs this year.
Pretty good, yeah.
That's pretty good. No, you want to see JD Martinez, who's got 30, and you want to see him mush balls to the opposite field. That's what you want to see. It was just useless for me.
If you're paying a ticket for that, and you know that the ticket prices are going to be insane.
Oh, of course.
Right? So,
of course. You're going there just to be bored. And it's, I don't know. It didn't
It has a bad taste in your mouth, and I will agree with you. It kind of does, but I wouldn't look too much into it, to be honest with you. But for a fan like ourselves, and if you do watch it looking forward to the home run derby.
Honest to goodness, going into the All-Star game, the home run derby, I heard Rhys Hoskins. I'm like, okay, well, he was a rookie coming up last year. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be thinking that going into a home run derby.
No, you should be thinking the elite franchise guys.
Schwarber, Davis, Freddie Freeman. I didn't think he was a big crushing home run hitter. He's not, because he went out in the first round to Harper. Harper, yeah, he's a home run guy. Okay, fine.
Well, he only went because...
And then there was a guy, Muncy. Honest to goodness, I didn't even know the guy going into the Derby.
And you could argue Bryce Harper, the only reason why he went was because...
He's in Washington.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it was anywhere else, if it was in Baltimore or Miami for that matter, I don't think that he would go. So it is definitely... I mean, for the fans that pay money to watch it and expect big names to go... Obviously, that's not the case anymore. Maybe it was just one of those years where they were talking amongst each others, and then all the elite talent were like, "Well, if you're not going, then why would I go?" kind of thing. So I don't know if they were talking amongst each other, but it did leave a sour taste in our mouths.
I didn't enjoy it. But, I mean, whatever. It's done. That's it. And for the Blue Jays, we'll move on from the stupid All-Star game. I'm done. I don't want to talk about that right now.
Who is in the All-Star game for us?
J Happ. That's it.
Not even Justin Smoke?
No. J Happ. That's it.
Yeah, and he could be a Philly.
Yeah. I mean, we came out, I think it was either this morning or late yesterday, that the Phillies have engaged in talks with the Blue Jays about J Happ. So anybody thinking that the J Happ train has fallen apart because of his recent struggles, yeah, that has not happened.
Yeah.
Clearly, teams are still interested. You heard the Cubs a little while ago, the Yankees, the Phillies now.
It's been all over the place, and honestly, I don't even buy these. Oh, we're having talks with them.
Right.
We were having talks for 2 months now, and nothing's come about. A trade could have been proposed and could have been worked out, but maybe it broke apart. We don't know, right? But for now, J Happ is still a Blue Jay. Wouldn't that be so funny if they traded him before the All-Star game?
That'd be weird. Well, if that's the case, it'll have to be done today.
So wait, hold on. So if he's traded from the Blue Jays to the Phillies, would he be wearing a Phillies jersey?
Well, that was the same
All-Star
thing
game?
with oh god, who was it? Was it in the NHL or was it somebody?
Well, no, it was John Scott, wasn't it?
That's who it was.
John
Yes.
Scott was on Arizona. No,
Was it Arizona?
I know we got traded from a team to Montreal. Yeah, I think it was Arizona.
From Arizona to Montreal.
And then he didn't even wear the Montreal jersey. He wore it was just a regular NHL, like it had the NHL logo on it. So obviously Bettman didn't want John Scott in the All-Star game, so they just traded John Scott to Montreal for like a conditional
Whatever.
It was like future considerations or something like that, right? So I mean, that would be pretty funny.
I mean, you look at a thing like that made that game fun.
But that was a once in a lifetime.
Oh yeah, it's never going to happen again.
Even obviously Bettman didn't want it to happen.
But it worked.
It was one of the greatest moments in NHL All-Star history.
In my eyes, at least. That was amazing.
So, do you want to get into the Marcus Stroman comments?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So after the final game of the season, or the first half of the season from the Blue Jays, Marcus Stroman was talking to reporters.
This was against the Red Sox?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was on Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And a report came out that after the cameras went off, he said that the team was awful. The team was playing like garbage. I don't know exactly the quote, but he was just, bottom line, they were playing awful. Mm-hmm. And that's all that came out. The reporters did not feel free to bring out that Marcus Stroman said that he was playing awful as well. He didn't just throw his team under the bus. He didn't do anything of those sorts.
Yeah.
He just said that we are playing awful, I am playing awful, and that's that. So I don't know. That's why the media is something that you don't really rely on a whole lot.
Well, they're taking this whole thing...
They're blowing it way out of proportion.
Out of context.
Yeah.
They're taking this whole thing out of context, and that's the media for you. So, because it's funny. When I first heard this, I thought that he said what the media obviously wanted him to say and took it out of context. That's why I was a bit surprised. But since you mentioned that to me, it gives me a whole new outlook on it.
I'm going to read what he wrote on his notes and posted this to Twitter.
Okay.
He says, media, you could quote any of this because I'm reading it from his thing. Media asked me a question that had absolutely nothing to do with the game. I think it had something to do with the Vancouver Canadians, a team of the Blue Jays.
Okay. Why would they be asking him about
absolutely
that?
Nothing to do with the game, team, or my performance. Bottom line, because it was a post-game interview. They had nothing to do with that. Right. We just lost, and it's extremely frustrating. I'm not playing well. Neither are we as a team. After the camera shut off, I said word for word, quote, I'm terrible right now. We're terrible right now. It's frustrating, and that question isn't relevant at all, end quote, to a member of the media. Right. They chose to run the, quote, we're terrible, end quote, part only. That's ridiculous. It's frustrating losing. Playoff level caliber is our expectation. My passion for my team and the city of Toronto is authentic and real. I love everything about being a Blue Jay. I truly have felt Canadian since I've came to the city of Toronto. Mm-hmm. I love this team and this city to the death of me. That won't ever change, regardless of what words are spun. I love my team and this city. Always have, always will.
Okay. Now, it is interesting that they would ask, the media would ask him about that and how, like, obviously we know that the Blue Jays aren't good. We know that Marcus Stroman is having probably one of his worst years in his career.
Right.
So why would he need to mention those two things again to the media? We know without even him saying that.
The fact of them bringing up a totally different concept in a post-game interview, right? You know, he's standing there in the locker room.
Yeah.
And the media comes up and they start asking him about other teams. I'm not sure why that has any regards to any of the Blue Jays in itself. That's why he gets frustrated. I get that.
Well, and of course, after a loss, it doesn't help because he is obviously fuming a little bit because you just lost your, third consecutive game?
It was 2, but they lost the game. They lost the series 3-1.
Whatever. But he's obviously mad. And then the media asked him about the Vancouver Giants.
I think it was the Vancouver Canadians. I think that's what it was.
Something.
I think that I can't guarantee that, but I think that's what I heard.
It was something not relevant to the Jays.
Right. And that's where he got a little frustrated. And he says, yeah, well, whether he says we're terrible right now or not, whether I understand they spun it that way.
Yeah.
But he's speaking the darn truth. Like Teoscar Hernandez missed a lazy fly ball out there in left field, but you know why? Because he hasn't played in Boston enough. He doesn't really know the Green Monster too well. So he doesn't know how far he is from the wall. That is a big factor.
Right. Now, going back to Marcus Stroman, he doesn't need to remind us how awful the Jays are. Like, why is he reminding the media that... Obviously, the media wants him to say it, but as fans, we know it.
Right. So he comes out and says it, and he says,
we know.
And he says, I've been awful. I've been terrible too.
Which we know.
But that part, the I've been terrible, taking the onus on himself, was never put out to the media. That is what he got angry about.
Didn't he spit the F-bomb?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, well,
I read the exact thing. I don't think there was anything there.
Okay, well, there's an article here. Let me just bring it up that he did. I don't know if it was towards the Jays or towards himself. Maybe he said he was effing terrible. Maybe he said that the Jays were effing terrible. Excuse me. So I'm just gonna bring it up here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at the situation, and it's the media trying to fire him up, a guy who's already a very emotional guy, and they're just trying to get more out of him and then make a huge, stupid story out of it. It's stupid. There's no need for it.
No, there isn't.
The guy had a tough outing. He knows it. He clearly came out and said that he was terrible. So he understands what's going on.
Yeah.
But the media just tries to make it sound even worse and make, everybody hate him and make him look like a terrible figure and he's bashing his entire team. Look at this guy go. No. It's terrible. I mean, the media, I hate how they do things just for an article. It's stupid.
Okay, so now it was reported that Stroman said that his team was playing effing terrible. This was reported by a member of the media. So you're right. It was a Class A Vancouver. It was mentioned about the Vancouver
Canadians. Yeah.
Right.
So bottom line, the media came out and said, "Oh yeah, he said this."
But he obviously did say that.
Whether did he?
It's quoted right here
in an article to get an article out. To get some views, to get some money.
During an exchange with a member of the media,
the camera was off.
Who asked the
camera was off, so there's no 100% proof.
No, there isn't. It was reported that Stroman said his team was playing effing terrible.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Team's playing effing terrible. I'm playing effing terrible. Okay. So everybody's playing effing terrible.
Well, no, but did he say that himself? I'm playing effing...
Yes, he did. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. The media did not come out and say that he said that he played effing terrible
in that
either.
Quote, he didn't say effing. He just said what he obviously quote unquote said, but he didn't say that he said effing.
Okay, well, I mean, he's not going to post anything saying effing this, effing
no,
that, right,
but
obviously. But whether he said effing or not, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And
I'm just trying to say that
typical Toronto media.
Yeah, trying to make blow things out of proportion. It's just nuts. It's
just somebody that wants to have a 1 minute of fame.
They want an article posted. They want to have some good reviews. They want to have views and money and stuff.
If you've seen, like me, I was a sucker and probably you too, when I'm going to read you the exact title of the article. Stroman clarifies effing terrible comment. What do you think before even clicking that? Oh man, that's an interesting article. I'm going to, I'm going to click on that. James just blowing his nose back there.
Yeah.
But anyways, obviously you're going to get clicks. And this media member is smart and be like, okay, well, if I mention effing, whether he said it or not, I'm going to post that in my article so I can get more views.
And I hate that.
And
Marcus Stroman actually came out and just, I'm glad he did that. I'm glad he did what he did and came out and said that the media is trying to blow everything out of proportion. And we all know, if you guys are hardcore Jays fans, you know how much Marcus Stroman loves the city of Toronto.
Well, he's a fiery guy.
Not even a fiery. No, the city as a whole. He's a big Drake guy. He always goes to the Raptor games. He goes to the Leafs games. He's always supporting the Six. He always does his thing to support the city.
Right, but his emotions do take the best of him sometimes.
Right.
When, even on the mound, you've seen and I've seen that his emotions do get to him. And he's a fiery guy. He's still youngish. He's
27, I think.
27. Okay, so he's mid-age. But this proves that, well, it doesn't really prove anything, but it just shows what the media in Toronto is like. But we all know what the media in Toronto is like back to the Phil Kessel days. We all know what the media is like.
Oh, yeah.
In Toronto.
They're brutal. That's bottom line.
Right. It's probably worse in Boston, I'd imagine, when it comes to the Red Sox or the Yankees for that matter. But I mean, the Toronto media it's still brutal sometimes, especially when you're not playing well.
Honestly, Marcus Stroman is one of my favorite Blue Jays, so to hear the media start doing this to him, it just frustrates me.
It reminds you of Phil Kessel. I love Phil Kessel. Yeah. You love Phil Kessel.
Yeah, I had his jersey, for goodness sakes.
It reminds you of him because Phil Kessel is a great guy, but then when the media asks you these stupid questions after a tough loss...
And they try and twist things. They try and really twist them hard.
Especially when the team's not playing well and after a tough loss, you're going to be angry. And, like you said, twisting of the words and taking it out of context. Yeah. And that's a huge one. Taking it out of context, and that's what they're doing.
Well, yeah, if he says, we didn't play effing well at all today. Oh, boy, media's all over that one.
Of course.
It's just, it's stupid.
You have to say cookie-cutter answers.
Yeah. You really got to be blunt. You really got to be straightforward.
Yep.
And that's why I don't blame Phil Kessel for not wanting to talk to the media, ever. I don't blame him.
No.
But sticking with the Blue Jays, Roberto Osuna, obviously he is expected to come off the suspension. I think it's at the beginning of August or something like that.
So he is going to pitch this year.
I mean, he's already pitching down in the minors for the Blue Jays right now.
You already talked about how we feel about this. We're not going to get back into it, but I mean, it's good to see.
It is what pitching. It is.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of times this year the Blue Jays blowing leads. They did it against Boston. We had a 2-1 lead in the 9th inning, and Clippard comes on and gives up back-to-back doubles, and then you get a grand slam in the 10th inning, and you lose.
So this could help the team in a huge way.
Well, I mean, it's your guy. It's your closer, you know?
Yeah.
As much as Clippard has had a good year, he's not the closer for this team.
Yeah.
And this team has had a bounce around closer for years and years and years before Roberto Osuna, and now that we've had him, he's just been a staple back there. And you're like, okay, well, get to the 9th inning, he's coming out. No matter if he wins or loses, he's coming out.
He's so young, but with this whole debacle happen, we're kind of looking at him in a different way now. And
as of right now, yes. He comes out and he saves 10, 15 games to end the season. We're going to kind of forget about it.
And me and you already discussed this
Yeah.
on a different podcast, if you will. I think this was a couple episodes ago, so we're not going to get into that. But
the last thing I want to talk about
go on.
is possible trades for the Jays at the deadline, because like I said, we're getting really close.
When is the trade deadline?
I think it's the end of the month. I think it's the end of
So it's
end
2
of July.
weeks.
Well, I don't know if it's the exact end. It could be in a week. It could be a week and a half. I'm not sure exactly what.
So it's either next week.
I want
or
to say
the
July
week after.
28th. I don't know why, but
Okay.
it's something along those lines. But guys that I would not mind letting go would be a guy like J Happ, obviously.
Can't stop hearing about him.
Yeah, your bullpen arms. John Axford, if you can get anything for him. Probably could, but he's a guy who can throw 97 with movement. That's anything.
Sungwano.
Exactly. Tyler Clippard. Guys like that who are old and all on 1-year contracts.
But you still need relievers. That's the thing. Like,
That's why you bring up guys. At that point in the season, this team needs to
bring
get
up guys from AAA, like older guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to bring you need young assets, and you can't just let your good bullpen guys and Clippard. Look what they did last year with Joe Smith. He was having a great year with the Blue Jays. Such a fantastic. He was the setup guy. He was terrific. They traded him for two guys, Samad Taylor and Thomas Pannone. Samad Taylor is an A-ball, but he's only 19. I think he's just turned 20 years old. And then you get Thomas Pannone, who's a lefty, and he's in AAA right now.
It's something for a guy you know it's not going to come back.
And he's a 1 year, and he's a reliever.
It's a 1-year wonder type of thing. So
So you have a Tyler Clippard. I wouldn't say as much John Axford, but him and Clippard and Seguano, those two guys are guys that are having great years that can help teams down the stretch.
That a playoff team are trying to make it into the wild card.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking those bullpen arms, especially with the way the MLB is now, and when it comes to the playoffs, you don't see starters go long. No. You may see them go 4 innings, 5 innings. No matter if they're going scoreless or not, you see them go 4 or 5 innings and they give up.
You don't want to risk an injury.
That, or you just let's say they give up a single. You're like, okay, let's bring in this dynamite lefty or something.
Yeah.
Right. That's why when the Cleveland Indians went to the World Series, they used Andrew Miller a ton, because he was so good. He was so dynamite.
Yeah.
So.
And he could stay in there.
That's why relievers are so valuable nowadays. So a guy like J Happ, guys like that, even a Ryan Tepera. We heard that earlier on when the initial rumblings of J Happ were happening. That Ryan Tepera was in there, and he would probably be the guy with the most value because he's got some term to him.
And that's saying something too. If Ryan Tepera has the most term. Now, besides relievers, is there any Justin Smoke?
I think a guy like Justin Smoke is a guy you let go right now. Right now, he had a ridiculously good last 10, 15 games. He had like 7, 8 home runs in 15 games, which is unbelievable. And he got his average up from under 220 to like 245 almost.
So
he's having a really good section of his season. You got to let him go.
Yeah.
Get something back for him.
Right. It just get assets for players that you know are going to be free agents or not coming back to the team. I don't know if Justin Smoke's going to re-sign with us. Probably not. I don't know.
Well, whether he does or not, this team's not going to contend next year, so what does it matter?
Exactly.
Right?
Especially for a 30-year-old Justin Smoke.
No, you got to let him go.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to the Jays and it comes to all this, a guy like Jaime Garcia, we totally forgot about him. Funny thing about him, actually, he came off the DL a couple days ago, pitches 2/3 of an inning, walks 3 guys. He was terrible. He would be a guy that I thought if he was pitching pretty well, to trade. But you're going to get diddly squat for him.
Something like J. Happ had a rough time with the Yankees, if you will. This was a couple games ago, but I mean, it's only a couple starts. We know what J. Happ can do,
and teams know. And that's why I'm not worried about him getting traded for at least a
if
couple
he does
assets.
get traded, because we just keep hearing J. Happ talked with this team.
Until it's official, I don't believe you got anything.
It's getting old.
Yep, it really is. And
I know. I mean, again, the trade deadline, we don't know the exact date, but it should be in, a week or two? Or I guess you're going to look it up right now.
I'm going to look it up really quick. It won't take long.
Yeah, but obviously the All-Star game is today or tomorrow?
Today.
Today. Obviously, the NL versus AL. It starts at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, will you be watching...
July 31st.
July 31st. So, will you be watching the All-Star game today, James?
Maybe to see J Happ, and that's probably about it.
What, CJ Happ go like 1 or 2 innings? All right, he's done?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably about it.
I would love to see him get traded to the Phillies, and then he's wearing a Phillies jersey, pitching for them in the All-Star game.
Or like John Scott, he'll wear an MLB jersey.
Dude,
I've never seen one of those, so that'd be interesting to see.
That'd be kind of cool.
The last thing I want to talk about.
Hold on.
Okay.
If J. Happ gets traded during the game, does he switch to the MLB jersey?
I don't want to get so confused.
Wait, it's just a logo.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that'd be...
So the hat would just be a logo too, or just
like the umpires' hats that they always wear. Yeah, give me an umpire hat. It's a regular MLB logo on the front. That's okay. That's it. I don't even know what the heck we're talking about at this point. That's funny. The last thing I wanted to talk about, though, the Futures game happened yesterday. Sorry, on Sunday. No, it was yesterday. Sorry.
What's this?
Or was it the day before? I think it was Sunday.
What's this?
The Futures game, which is all the young guys, the good talent young guys.
This is around the league?
Yeah.
Oh, who was there?
All the prospects.
Ryan Barocki?
No, all the prospects. Bo Bichette was there.
Oh.
Danny Jansen, the catcher that I continue to preach is this team's future catcher.
Sorry, Russell Martin.
He's 35 years old and can't throw anymore and can't hit at all and all that stuff.
All right.
But Danny Jansen hit a 2-run shot. And Bo Bichette had a 1 for 3 with a single. Yeah. So I mean,
future looks bright, but we know the future looks bright for this team. So
should take our time with it,
especially with Vladdy J.
Sure, Vladdy J, however you want to word it. And he's like we talked about in the last podcast that he was going to be starting his rehab on this Friday. He is doing that right now. He was 1 for 3, I think, again yesterday.
Excellent to see him get back to hopefully not AAA because we already talked about.
I want to see him in AA. I don't want to see him moving up to AAA yet.
So, Leaf time.
We're going to move to the Leafs.
The Leafs, 2 notable signings, if you will. Rasmus Sandin was signed to a...
Yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was yesterday. 3-year entry-level deal, so he will be with the Marlies next year.
Well, he could be with the Marlies. He could be in the SHL. Is that still a thing?
No, it's not. If you sign an entry-level deal, they're with the organization. Because how an entry-level deal works is that if you sign it... then he can either make the team at a camp or make it to the AHL. Or you have his rights pretty much. Now, we didn't really...
I think he's going to go back to the Sioux. I think that's still a thing.
I don't know if it is because he doesn't have to...
And I'm going to do a flashback here. Back in the day, when I used to go to Peterborough Pete's games, Matt Pumple was the main guy on that team back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a name.
That's the...
What team's he on, the Rangers still?
I don't even know at this point.
Okay, go on.
And he got signed to an entry-level contract. And he was playing with the Petes.
Okay.
So I think you can still do that.
No, but that's the thing. Matt Pumple, that's a North American name. Rasmus Sandin has that because he played his first year, I think, in the SHL. And then he was brought over to the Sioux. So he can start with the Marlies.
He can.
With Timothy Liljegren.
He can.
Because he's a European skater. So I don't... like an entry-level deal, same thing like the actual games on Xbox and whatever. If you sign a player to an entry-level contract, you own him. If a player doesn't sign an entry-level contract in 3 years or 2 years?
3.
He's a UFA.
Right.
So we signed him. It doesn't mean that much, but I think he will be with the Marlies next year. I don't think that he's going back to the Sioux.
And that'd be quite interesting for Leaf fans, eh? Seeing Sandin, Liljegren, Sean Durzi, that'd be quite the time.
Andrew Nielsen is a name.
He's still there. He's still there.
He's still there, right? So I mean,
depending on the situation, maybe Justin Hall's still down there.
You could even see maybe, I don't know if Connor Carrick's on waivers, but
no, I can't see that happening. But
you can't see that happening. Him going on waivers if they send him.
They did not throw Josh Levo on waivers.
Not yet.
They won't throw Connor Carrick on waivers.
Not yet. So it's not surprising. We knew it was going to happen, but it's just good that it has happened. Now, the more interesting contract.
And this one kind of stumped me. You know, we were talking in the last podcast about possibly Andreas Janssen getting 2 years, 3 years, depending on what the term was and how the dollars were. We thought it was going to be about $2.5 million. That's kind of what we said, about 2 years, possibly 3, how it was going.
Right.
Well, It shocked us all.
Yeah.
Kyle Dubas signs Andreas Johnson for a 1 year. It's like under $1 million.
Just over league minimum. I think it was kind of blown out of proportion that you mentioned 2.5, because guys, remember, he didn't even play. Yes, he looked good in the playoffs, but he didn't even play, what was it? He played, 20 games with the Leafs?
He was very good.
He was very good, but give him a full year with the Leafs this year.
Exactly. See, that is what he did. And it's a 2-way contract as well.
Yeah, that I'm surprised about.
That I'm really shocked about.
Oh,
no, sorry. It was the qualifying offer. So, what happened here was the Leafs wanted to lock him up.
Right.
But Andreas Johnson's like, okay, hang on. I'm going to take the qualifying offer, bet on myself that I'm going to have a good season and get paid more.
Yeah, well, that's smart, because if he
qualifying offer.
Because if he didn't accept it, then he would just be signed for 2 years at just over $1 million or 1.5 or whatever.
They could have been trying to go for 3 years. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to get him for 4 years at like $2 million. And he's like, whoa, okay. So if I have a breakout year next year and I score 40, 50 points, I'm still only going to be making $2 million. Not the way I want to do it.
Smart move by him. Now, if he tears it up...
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, because we're going to have 3 guys to sign next year. Matthews, Marner, and now, obviously, Andreas Johnson. So it's... And Jake Gardner. It's a smart move by him. I think Kyle Dubas needs to make a move. I do. I'm sorry. I don't think this team can afford Jake Gardner with all these young guys signing.
No.
We can't. How much is Jake Gardner worth? A 50? No.
5?
No. A 50-point defenseman.
But a liability defensively.
Okay. But do other teams look at that around the league? They do, but you have to watch Leaf games like us to realize that he's such a liability. Obviously, the playoffs didn't help his stock around the league, but for a regular season, I don't think many teams look at him like we do. So I think Jake Gardner is worth $6 million, maybe even 6.5.
Depends if he wants to win a Stanley Cup or not. That's up to him, really.
And he loves the city of Toronto. He was drafted. Well,
he was by the Ducks.
But he never played a game for them, so he played his entire career with the Leafs, with the Marlies. So he's been with us for maybe around 6-7 years.
The first playoff goal that you and I ever saw was, home playoff goal was Jake Gardner's.
Blast from the point and that celebration.
Oh, it's embedded in my mind.
No, it is. Me and you and pretty much all Leaf fans know what he is terrible at, but we know what he's good at. Great at holding the line, great shot. Great putting up points. He's
great at the long passes. When it comes to him, it's the short passes that he screws up
in his own end.
Because you saw a lot last year about a lot of he's in his own end and he rifles it tape to the other blue line, and Nylander's on a breakaway and rifles it in. I mean,
it's crazy.
But then he can't break the puck out of his own end.
No,
it's weird.
Or he skates behind his own net, and then he gets chased by a forward from the opposing team, and he just loses it.
Yep, it happens too often.
No,
but
it does. But we know what he can do.
When you're a 50-point defenseman, people overlook that.
That's what I'm saying. And people overpay for that.
Yeah.
Look what Don Carlson
got. He's a better defensive player.
He is, but he got... How much did he get again? $7 million?
Jake got 4.5.
Right now he's at 4.5. So... I think a smart move.
I don't know if it's going to be too much of a raise. I had a weird feeling. I don't know.
On the open market, I think Jake Gardner's worth $6 million. Maybe
on the
6.
open market, yes.
But for us, I mean, I'm sorry, 4 point. I mean, maybe 5.5. But even that is a $1 million increase. But I don't know.
Still making $4.5 million.
I still think that, and it's not the player himself.
No.
It's the contract and how we have to get something for him, because we've seen JVR leave for nothing. We've seen Tyler Bozak leave for nothing, which is fine because we have Tavares. Leo Komarov. All those 3 guys, we could have got something at the trade deadline. What could we have gotten for JVR at the trade deadline? A king's ransom.
He had a ton of goals at that point, but you were going to make them. You might have made the playoffs that time, but you wouldn't have gone anywhere.
No, and right now, I don't know if Dubas is looking towards the future or going all in right now. I'm not sure.
I love what he's done so far.
Because if you trade a Jake Gardner, who's going to be your top left-handed shot McDermott, I mean, he's looked...
Well, Riley's your top left shot.
Second, sorry. Top 4 left shot.
Well, that's the question.
Can
Dermott take that range? We don't know yet.
I don't think
we have no idea.
We don't know, but I don't think next year he didn't look good, necessarily great in the playoffs. Yes, the regular season he looked good, fantastic even, but in the playoffs you've seen that, okay, this kid is still developing, this kid's still young. And for him, if we do trade Jake Gardner, for him to take that leap and to become a top 4 defenseman at 22, I don't know if I'm too certain that he will do that.
I don't think he'll do it right away. It'll take some grooming and time. No. And for Leaf fans, look, we're ready to win now. We just signed John Tavares for a 7-year contract.
Yes,
we're ready to win now.
Yes and no, but obviously the back end is still a...
Yeah, I know, but you're ready to win now. When you just signed John Tavares for a 7-year contract, you're ready to win.
Right. Now, there's only one RFA left, and that's William Nylander.
Yeah, that's a big question because there hasn't been a lot of talk about him yet.
No, there hasn't.
But he will sign. I'm not worried about that.
I'm not worried about it either. I'm worried about not the term, obviously the dollar value, because right now it's cap crunch. It's cap crunch for us right now. Yeah, because me and you discussed on what he should be making. You said around 6.5. I said 6 even. David Pastrnak, when he got his breakout season, he got 6.6, and obviously he's not as good as David Pastrnak, not as yet, or ever. We don't know yet, but I think 6 by 6 is fair value.
I think so, and that's also good for Leaf fans too. That's very nice,
right? And all these young guys have to realize that if you want to keep this core together, you're gonna have to take a small pay cut.
And a pay cut of $6 million. What
do you mean?
I'm saying, you're saying how $6 million would be a pay cut for the most part because of William Nylander.
Well, no, a pay cut like $1 million or maybe $500,000 or maybe like $1.5 million pay cut towards right. So all these players are gonna have to do that,
except for Austin Matthews. I don't think he'll take a pay cut. I think he just deserves money.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, the agents are a big factor too.
He'll probably end up getting what Tavares is getting, something along those lines.
Or even more. I
don't think Matthews has proven to me yet that he is a 11, 12 million type of guy.
He has.
He hasn't got an 80-point season.
He was on pace for a point per game if he didn't get pace.
I mean, like, look, Connor McDavid got that crazy amount, but he won the Art Ross.
He got over 100 points. He's worth it.
Exactly.
Matthews is worth
points.
Matthews, because he stayed healthy. If Matthews stayed healthy, he would be over a point per game at 82 games played.
But would you pay him $13 million?
I didn't say 13.
Okay, 12.
I said 11, 12.
Okay, whatever.
Yes, 100%.
11 maybe. 11.
John Tavares was under a point per game, and you paid him 11. Matthews was a point per game at 60. It was 63 or 64 games played. You're giving him 12 mil, more than Tavares, in my opinion.
Well, only time will tell when it comes to that. But
I think
it all depends on what happens this year with Austin. If he isn't
scoring is going to decrease for the Leafs because the puck can only go to so many players.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be very. I'm actually very intrigued to see what Mike Babcock does with all the lines. It's going to be very interesting to see how that goes during the preseason and how it goes through the season in general.
I can't see him splitting up the Hyman Matthews.
No, I can't see that. I can't see. Well, I mean, he did it a lot last year. Nylander moved a lot last year. He's down to the fourth line at times. You saw him with
because
Kadri.
He wasn't really performing in that stretch,
right?
But I think as a first line, I think Babcock keeps that because we know what Zach Hyman.
But is that a first line? You John Tavares on your second line?
Well,
I think it's a 1A and 1B in my eyes.
Yeah, it's just 2 number 1 lines pretty much. Like, I mean, you potentially have a power play of Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Riley.
I personally have this weird gut feeling that John Tavares is going to have some freakish nature type of season. You're playing with Mitch Marner. You're going to be getting the puck.
Marner's going to be skating around the whole end of the ice, and
everyone's going to be like, "Oh no, it's Mitch Marner." Hey guys, John Tavares is behind you. Oh damn! And then he's already putting the puck in the back of the net.
Leaf fans, can you not?
And
wait?
Oh yeah, you forget about those two. Patrick Marleau's right there as well.
And we saw Game 7. He showed up.
Right? He scored 2 there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be quite interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah.
And then if things don't work, you still have these young guys that can come up and maybe give it a shot with Kapanen and Andreas Janssen.
That's interesting about Kapanen too, because you don't know if they're going to necessarily succeed being on the fourth line.
No. That's why I think they're going to be a third line team. I think Connor Brown might get fourth line time with
You're going to have
penalty
two
kill.
first lines and two third lines.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what you're going to get. Yeah. The question still remains who's the fourth line center, but I mean, I think we have an idea who it's going to be. It's probably going to be...
Our boy Parr.
Yeah, Parr's going to probably be it. But then you have a guy like Trevor Moore in there that it could possibly take there because he was great in the
But
McCullough
he's
Cup
not
playoffs.
a center.
Right, but he did play the center at the Marlies.
I would rather somebody who's established in the Swedish league and is a bit older, but Trevor Moore could.
For me, I think
training camp's going to be interesting.
Training camp and preseason is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, because you're seeing Tyler Ennis being on the fourth line. I would love to see.
I can't wait to see that. Sigmund a Buffalo jersey all these years and just torching up the Leafs on a consistent basis.
He was the handful of guys when we played Buffalo back in the day that torched us up.
Yeah.
All the time. Tyler Ennis scored again.
The terrible Buffalo Sabres, the bottom of the league, couldn't get the first overall pick type of Buffalo Sabres. He was on that team
2013-14.
every time against the Leafs. He's scoring a big goal, and it just frustrated me. Oh, gosh. Nick Delorier was one.
Mark Pysyk was always there, kind of scrounging around Steve Ott.
Yeah, Ville Leno. Remember that guy? That's a flashback.
I remember the Leafs were thinking about signing him.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Dave Nonis, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know what
You never knew what he was going to do. You had no clue what that guy had up his sleeve. No. But right now, it's the golden age for the Leaf fans.
Yeah.
It is golden. John Tavares is a Toronto Maple Leaf.
I still can't believe it, dude.
No, I can keep saying it over and over. I can't. It's so John Tavares is a Toronto Maple Leaf. It just makes me happy.
Oh no, it does. This season's going to be interesting. And guys, I cannot wait to the home opener because guess who we're facing? The Montreal.
Hey, how's Shea Weber? Oh wait, no.
Oh wait, how's Max? Oh, he'll probably not even start with the Habs.
Oh god.
How's
Mark? Okay, well, yeah, we know about Mark Bergevin. That guy's something else there.
Oh god.
How's Thomas Plekanec? Oh, just gonna retire. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
how's that center core? Oh wait,
Thomas. Oh boy, they signed Philippe Deneau.
Oh, good for him.
That's their first line center.
There
and
you
could
go.
see Jasmir Kotkaniemi be right up first line. Why not?
All-star. This is all-star center core from
Jasmir Kotkaniemi just first line center next year. Just who cares? I mean, he's only 17 years old. He weighs what, 185 pounds? He's not even developed.
Yeah, why not? Let's see what happens. Mark
he can turn into a Victor Mete. It doesn't matter. Victor
Mete is on defense, but
no, but turn into him like a quote unquote steal,
like as a third overall pick. Yeah, okay, that's very interesting. Or he could be like another third overall pick the Montreal Canadiens had at center, Alex Galchenyuk,
who was traded for a winger.
Yeah. That still baffles me.
And then you're hearing that Pacioretty's out, a 30-goal scorer. Who needs goals?
This team. Oh, this Montreal Canadian team. I love it. Don't you? As a Leaf fan.
It's funny because when Ottawa does something stupid, Mark Bergevin's like, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. I'm just going to do something freaking any more stupid.
Yeah.
This is stupid. And Mark Bergevin, I question his logic.
I think Pierre Dorian, is in more of a tough spot than Montreal, but I think Mark Bergevin's worst of the
Didn't Mark Bergevin come out and say that Max Domi's going to play at center?
Yeah. They said.
Did you learn about that experiment with Jonathan Drouin, you numbnut?
Well, in his eyes, Max Domi is a center.
In his eyes, everyone can play center. Heck, but Victor Mete, he's a steal. Why not?
Yeah, he played on the London Knights. He played center maybe back when he was maybe like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, he's a steal.
Yeah.
He is. Put Carey Price there. Why not?
But he's not French-Canadian.
Oh, see, that might be a problem with Mark Bergevin. Maybe he'll be buried in the defense, maybe the third-line defense pair, maybe even the press box.
Yeah, so you could see now Max Domi as your first-line center. Then you have Jonathan Drouin. And you have, who else? Maybe, as of now, Max Pacioretty as your first line.
Hey, that's good depth right there.
Or you could just see, now, with Mark Bergevin, I'm surprised that every face-off, he doesn't switch Drouin and Max Domi when it comes to centers. Why not one face-off? And I'm not talking about kicking out a center. No. I'm talking about every new face-off, you put in Drouin for one. He loses it. All right, and Mark Bergevin's like, no more for you.
Put in 2 different wingers, right? Why not? Yeah, keep Plekanec on the wing. Why not?
Yeah,
just do that. You need another winger.
Another playmaking winger.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah,
now.
no,
this is getting ridiculous. We're having a lot of fun here, but it's
Montreal. This is
bottom line. When the Leafs were garbage and Montreal was good, you heard chirps all over the place from Habs fans.
The laughs.
Now it's our turn, and then Habs fans be like, "When was the last time you won a cup?" Shut up.
When was the last time you won a cup?
When was the last time you won a game?
Well, April.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
When was the last time Mark Bergevin didn't do something stupid? It's been years.
Yeah, so the French-Canadian saga still exists.
Mark Bergevin, you're an idiot.
All right, so moving on from that. Okay, so question here. Who, in your opinion, is going to get traded first? Carlson or Pacioretty?
Carlson.
Really? Okay.
I haven't heard a lot of rumbles about Pacioretty. There's been some, but we
About
haven't heard
Chicago?
a lot. Yeah, but I think Carlson, there's been more traction.
I'm surprised a deal hasn't been, or a trade hasn't been done yet.
I think they're scared to make one. I really do.
I don't blame Pierre Dorian for thinking that because he wants the sun and the moon for Carlson, and I don't blame him. But now is the time to trade Erik Karlsson.
You don't want to wait till the deadline, then you're going to get scraps for him. You
And
don't
he's on
want
the dollar.
that. You do not
now,
want that.
if you trade him to a team, whether that be Dallas or Tampa, because those are the two teams.
Come on, Dallas! We don't want to see Karlsson in the Atlantic anymore.
No, we don't. So you could now a team would be with him for a whole year, and that's obviously more valuable than half a year.
Right, exactly. There's such a big difference when you trade some guy in the off season in his final year to midway through the season. It's a big difference.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, because you didn't get, like you said, you get the entire season with the guy. So yeah, you might have a little bit of kinks here early in the season, but then as the season progresses, the mojo will get
by
clicking.
November he'll be clicking with all of his teammates. Right?
That was the problem with Thomas Buchanan with the Leafs, right? He didn't get anything going there early on for
And
the
then
Leafs.
in the playoffs in the last couple of games,
Exactly, he
looked great.
because it took him some time, and now he's gone back to Montreal. But we all expected that going.
That was expected, yeah. So I mean, around the league now, oops, sorry, with the microphone.
Actually,
there.
Elias Lindholm signed with the
he signed
Calgary Flames.
That's a great contract. That's
6 years.
4.5.
It's
or
very
4.7. It is a very
and he's going to be on a very good squad. They got a really good forward core.
fringe first line center, definitely a second line center for sure.
He's probably going to be second line with Monahan. Probably.
They have a great center core actually. They got Monahan, Elias Lindholm now, obviously, Backlund, and now Derek Ryan.
It's really good.
That's pretty good.
Center depth is always good.
Right,
You
so,
see it everywhere.
Now Hannafin is not signed
Montreal.
yet.
Hey, you hear that?
All right. Enough of the Montreal.
I just had to throw my last one in there.
Yeah,
center
no,
depth.
but I mean, with obviously him signing, I'm surprised Hannafin not yet, but they obviously have the cap room, so we're not.
I can't see that happening. I can't see why they wouldn't sign him. They obviously traded for him, so they want him, and he's young. You want to see him back.
And obviously Connor Hellebuck signing with it wasn't because he was making about $4 million before, and now he's making $6.5. So that
scares me.
Well, no, it does
because
the one goalie. I can picture like the same thing happening, having a great first year and then getting a pay raise. Andrew Raycroft.
Yeah, that name.
Andrew Raycroft.
Hey, Leaf fan, that sounds familiar. All I got to say about that name is Tuukka Rask.
Right. So it is a risk, but they had to have. They had no choice.
No, they had to sign.
So I mean, that makes the Freddie Anderson contract look really good because he's making $5 million. Anderson's making $5 million.
Freddie's making $5 million, and he's been a very serviceable goalie.
Obviously, he had a better season.
Well, I think the defense core is a little bit better over in Winnipeg.
It is, but obviously Connor Hellebuck did have a better season than Anderson in the playoffs.
And I think having a good defense core does help a mile.
But he did have a better season.
Right. Statistically, yes.
But obviously, yes, that defense core is nuts. It's crazy. It's big. So yeah, but it's a risk. But they had to sign him. Simple as that. No, and it was only a $2.5 million raise because I think he was making about $4 million or so. So yeah, obviously, and then just going around the league here, the Islanders signed.
Adam Henrique signed a 5-year deal with the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay, that
happened yesterday. It was like 5.4. I think it was for 5 years. So that's quite a bit of money there for Adam Henrique.
It is yes. Now, obviously, Getzlaf is getting up there in age.
Yep. So is Corey Perry.
So this could possibly be. I think Henrique can play first line.
Oh, well, he did with New Jersey when they were not great. But I mean,
no, he did.
He still can. He still can do it.
But he's
a very serviceable player.
He's a second line center though.
But
he can play.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he can.
He reminds me like a Nazem Kadri, like a good second line center, but can play in the first.
Right. No, I think a steal would be the Nashville Predators signed UC Saros to a 3-year deal at 1.5 cap hit.
That's incredible.
Great.
This guy was unbelievable. 2 years ago in the playoffs and last year.
Yeah, last year he played a good chunk. He played like 25, 30
He was
games.
very good. And with Pecorino's future in question out there in Nashville, now you have this guy on 3 years at very, very, very little money.
Yeah.
That is really good for Nashville Predator fans.
Right. So, I mean, the last thing I wanted to get into was the Panarin contract dispute with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, Columbus offered him an 8-year deal. I'm not sure the money. He said no because he doesn't know what the team's direction is going to be.
They've been back-to-back playoffs.
Haven't won a playoff series, man.
No,
when
they're in the division of Washington and Pittsburgh, it's tough.
They were up 2-0
against Washington. Yeah.
That's inexcusable to lose that series.
And they were coming home. They were up 2-0 coming home.
That makes it even worse.
And then they lost 4 straight.
So Jarmo Kekalainen, their GM, you got to be smart about this, buddy, and maybe unload him right now because he has 1 year left on his deal. I think he's making around $6 million. Something like that, but you got to be smart with this. If he's not willing to re-sign long-term with you guys, and he had a career year, what's Timmy Panarin worth? Is he worth what?
First?
Nine? No.
You're talking about contract-wise.
Money-wise, $9 million?
$9 million is a lot.
Man.
But I mean, he's a good player. He's a good player. I mean...
He almost had a 30-goal season.
Was he point per game? 82 points. Yeah. Just over a point a game.
And you can't say, it was because Patrick Kane made him better. It's because Jonathan Toews made him. No.
Whether they did or not, he was on Columbus all year,
and now he's over. This is his best career year for him. So it's going to be interesting what they can get back for him if he's not willing to re-sign long term.
It's going to be really interesting to see what they do with him then at that point. If he's not willing to sign long term, it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens there with Artemi Panarin.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I don't know that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Do you want to switch over to the Raptors?
Well, we'll flip over to the hoops. And the Raptors, like I said, Summer League is going on right now, and the Raptors not playing too bad. Now, we did hear, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Alfonso McKinney, guy who was on the team last year, more or less up and down from the 905. Got in there once in a while, and he was waived. He played a little bit of the Summer League, and
you expect
gone.
that. You expect that for once Summer League starts wrapping up or whatever.
I didn't expect him to get dropped, but hey, he wasn't having a great Summer League. And
I mean, the Raptors themselves, they started off 0-4.
Right, and they won the 2 games in the playoffs. They're going on to the quarterfinals now.
They made the playoffs?
Every team does.
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
But they beat the top seed. I think it was Denver, I think it was. And then they beat the Hornets.
And OG looked good in those games.
He was great.
Because I know in the losses, he looked good in the 4 losses that the Raptors got in their first 4 games. He looked good. And, by the way, happy birthday.
Yep, happy birthday for OG. I think he's 21 now, I think.
No, he's 20.
He's 20 now. He was 20 when we drafted him. And he's played 1 year.
I thought he was 21 when we drafted him.
Well, I guess I'm going to check this baby out.
I'm saying 22.
You're going to say 22?
What are you saying?
Well, I'm going to say 21.
All right.
For Mr. OG. One Kenobi.
OG One Kenobi. I like that nickname, but
that's why May the 4th be with you is always cool when it comes to him because it relates.
But it's not on the same month or day. But yeah,
21 years old.
Oh, from London.
From London, England. Look at that.
First round,
23rd. First one, 23rd by the Raptors, and I think this year,
James.
What?
OG Anunoby in a British accent.
OG Anunoby. There it is. That was a good one right there. Right?
I like that.
That was a good one. But I think if the Raptors do not trade him for Kawhi Leonard, if they do not, I think this year is going to be
starting minutes.
I think the expectations for him are going to be higher.
Well, Nick Nurse is a new coach, so I mean, he's looked good. He's obviously starting, but I mean, do you maybe I don't know, maybe 6-man?
No, you got to start him. You started him all last year. Why would you go backwards? You got to start OG next year.
Yeah,
and I think he's going to have either a really good season or a not so good season whatsoever.
Why? What do you mean? Why?
Because I don't know. The feeling I have with him
is that it's a boom or bust with him.
I wouldn't say that for next year, but I'm just saying that like I said, with the Kawhi Leonard deal in the looms and all Raptor fans seeing the possible trades and seeing his name in it, we know his age. Yeah. We know what he can be.
Yeah.
That's why we're so skeptical about trading him away.
Right.
But if he doesn't become anything, we all look back at it and we're like, oh my God, we're so stupid.
Yeah.
That's why I think the pressure will be on him more. Well, he's such a calm guy. He reminds us all of Kawhi Leonard anyways, with the lack of emotion. But I think this year is going to be a very interesting one for him. It all starts with the Summer League. He said, like you said, he's had a very, very good Summer League so far.
Yeah, he has.
And I think he's just going to continue to get better. That's just my opinion on him. I look, as much as people do worry that some guys don't develop, some guys don't really grow, I guess, all that much.
Yeah.
But I think he's got that high ceiling. You see his intensity defensively.
And he's only 21.
He's 21 years old.
We drafted him as a freshman?
Yeah, 20 years old we drafted him.
Wow. Good pick.
Yeah, 23rd overall. That's why you have draft picks.
Yep, not like this year where we didn't even get a first. But for what we're doing and trying to accomplish, we don't really need any more firsts.
No, that's why trading Kawhi Leonard, you might have to get rid of or getting him, you might have to get rid of a first.
Yeah, now I know that this was a question that one of our subscribers asked, but let's just get into it now.
Okay.
Let's get into it
Who
now.
has it? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyways, what would you give up for Kawhi Leonard? Not any mock what would you give up for him? I think that was a pretty good question.
I think that package has to start with a first round pick. I think it has to start with that.
Yeah.
I think you got to get rid of a guy like a Pascal Siakam. I think
personally, I think that it starts with
I was going to say DeMar DeRozan, but
the be-all and end-all, they want a roster player back and a prospect or a pick. So I say a first, DeRozan, and
Siakam. That's what I saw. I actually saw. I don't know who said it actually. To be honest, I saw it and it was a first DeRozan and Siakam.
For me, I would rather Wright over Siakam, DeLon Wright.
As a Raptor fan, I agree.
Okay, well, that's what we're discussing. What would you want?
As a Spur, I don't think I'd take that. Just because DeLon's already 26 years old.
But you have to realize that he's not coming back. You're going to have him for one more year. Maybe he'll play bad because he knows
all the other teams are off the table. The Lakers have backed off. The Sixers have backed off.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The Raptors are the only team left.
Or you could see Kawhi stay with because I don't know if he has a no trade clause. I don't know how that. Yeah, but I mean, I would see. So you would give up Siakam a first and DeRozan. I would switch off Siakam for Wright. But
I would too. I would do that. But I'm trying to think of it from a Spurs Spurs perspective. They want a young guy that can. Siakam's still fairly young.
How about Pirtle instead of Siakam?
Sure, one of those two guys.
Okay.
And it sucks because those two are such good buddies.
But
it's a business.
Right. So that's what me and you would want to see.
Right.
Okay. Now, obviously, no fronts have been.
But the thing that scares me, though, getting rid of those guys, the pick, the Siakam, or the Pirtle, and DeRozan, Kawhi doesn't sign back next year. It's all up in the air. It's all a wash.
Right, but that's an if with Kawhi. But
exactly.
But these players, right? No, but these players were trading their ifs as well. DeRozan. Obviously, he's not an if. He's DeMar DeRozan. First round pick, that's an if. Pascal Siakam, that's an if. Jakob Perl, that's an if. We don't know if these players are going to pan out to be anything.
Right, but you also need players to fill spots.
Well,
so if you get rid of a Siakam, you need to find that backup power forward spot.
Which there are still free agents out there. Now, transitioning into that, the move that shocked me, Isaiah Thomas signing for... What was it?
1 year, wasn't it?
1 year at $5 million.
Like basically nothing.
No, he went
basically a boogie contract to the Golden State Warriors.
But see, yeah, I mean, but it was towards the Nuggets, and that's a random team in my opinion. Going from 2 years ago, or was it last year?
For Boston?
Yeah,
2 years ago.
2 years ago, going from an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
To this?
To this miserable season he had with the Cavs and the Lakers, and then this?
Hitting rock bottom.
That was fast.
Oh, yeah.
That's what sports are. I mean, you start throwing seasons like that around.
And I think it's because of his attitude, because he does have attitude issues. But I mean, yeah, and the fact that he doesn't play defense at all, because he doesn't play defense at all.
No.
Right?
No.
So, I mean, I'm just going to quickly go through the Nuggets here. The
way I look at that team, though, they have Jamal Murray, and obviously he's been a big piece of that team. He really got the big jump this past year. Are you going to look at the Nuggets or what?
Yeah, I'm trying to. This app's kind of acting up a little. Well, no, go on.
And I don't know. I just feel like the Nuggets are a team that's young. They're getting better. They have Nikola Jokic. They have, obviously, Murray. And they have, obviously, if they have Isaiah Thomas
obviously,
now,
if this app loads.
Yeah, oh my God. Your thing is all over the place.
Right. But,
I'll get it up then.
Well, it's frozen. But anyways, so that's a very random team. He's still staying in the West, and I can't see him signing long-term after this season with the Nuggets. I think he's going to be on the move again.
Well, if you sign a one-year deal, that's what you expect, right? They have Will Barton. They have Gary Harris.
We'll just go through. Well, no, I'll just go through the point guards.
Okay, Jamal Murray is a guard, so he'll be the shooting guard. Isaiah Thomas, the point guard.
That's not.
No, Monte Morris. They have.
Oh, Michael Beasley signed.
No, it's not Michael Beasley.
Oh.
That is Malik Beasley. I don't even know who that is, really. But as the team, and you're looking at Isaiah Thomas as a guy who could possibly be a good player.
And could possibly push the Nuggets, because the Nuggets are a fringe playoff team.
Yeah.
So you could see him possibly get them into either the 8th or 7th spot. We're not sure.
Yeah, then you have a guy like Nikola Jokic who averaged a double-double.
He's good.
Shot almost 40% from 3.
They traded away Moutier.
They got Paul Millsap. Yeah, they did trade away Moutier. And they have, obviously, Jamal Murray, who had one heck of a season.
Right. Who was that?
I don't know. The Jamal Murray is one of the key pieces of that team, averaging 16.5 points a game.
Remember when we wanted him to drop to the Raptors?
Kitchener, Ontario boy. I mean,
I thought he was from Sauga.
No, well, whatever. Same area, really, out on the west end.
Not really.
No, I know, but whatever.
No, but I mean, and actually, go up here. We're just seeing right now. Leonard offers
14 minutes ago. Kawhi Leonard offers lacking All-Star return. So bottom line, they want an All-Star back.
DeMar DeRozan.
That's really interesting. The teams that have engaged the Spurs in talks thus far: Portland, Denver, Phoenix, Toronto. Obviously, all these teams. However, the organization fearing Leonard will bolt to the Los Angeles Clippers at the conclusion of this coming season. Packages form around the league have lacked all-star level players.
So what would the Lakers give up for him?
So bottom line, they want all-star caliber players back.
No, hold on. So what would the Lakers give up for him if he were to go there?
They're talking about losing him at the end of the season, aren't they?
Oh, so he'll stay with the Spurs.
Fearing Leonard will bolt to the Los Angeles Lakers, like just to get out of here at the end of the season.
But if you're the Spurs, it doesn't matter if it's lacking. Get something for him rather than him bolt. So, I don't know.
And this is the problem why Boston and Philly are out of the conversation, because Boston and Philadelphia are both withholding their stars from discussions. Fultz, Simmons, and Joel Embiid for the Sixers, and Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Al Horford for the... So all those players I just mentioned
and you don't
are in no
them,
trade talks.
No, and I don't blame them for... I mean, maybe Markelle Fultz, but he's still young, and he still has franchise potential written all over him.
So, Woj... The Woj man himself, he actually reported all this. So,
so quite reliable source.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to get into the questions, guys.
We're going right into it.
Right, okay. So,
who we got?
We got Evan Shack. I love the first name, by the way.
What is it? Yeah, all right.
Who's been the best newcomer for the Jays in the first half? Solarte, Diaz, etc.
Oh, man. You know, that's tough. Solarte's been good, but... I don't know. I've kind of lost my feeling towards him now, just because he plays lazy. Yeah. He plays hot dog, and I don't really like that.
No, I don't like that at all, too. Diaz?
Diaz has been pretty good. I mean, coming into the season, we didn't really know what the deal was with Troy Tulowitzki, and we didn't really know what his health was going to be like, and we thought, well, Diaz is going to be a good backup for Troy Tulowitzki. Well, obviously with Tulo out basically the entire season, Diaz has had to be the starter, and I thought he's done a very good job. I think as the new players, I think you could say Granderson because he's been very good. Grichuk's been hot lately, but overall not so great. You could say the relievers, like I said, Sanguano and Clippard, they've been very good. But yeah, Diaz is my guy.
Okay. Now,
oh my God,
if you want to pronounce that, you can.
Decim.
Sorry if we kind of butchered
buddy,
that.
But we're just trying to help you out here.
Thoughts on Rap's lack of moves? Very frustrating, but.
As expected, to be honest.
No. You expected the Raptors not to do anything?
We know Masai. He doesn't make big moves, clearly.
I thought during the draft, I was 100% sure that we would get at least a pick.
Well, yeah, but that didn't happen.
I think something is going... I think it's brewing to be something big with this.
Well, I hope so. I really hope so.
Depends what we give up.
Well,
but just a change.
Yes.
A change. So I'm frustrated.
I'm frustrated. I'm just beyond frustrated with all this right now.
Roderick B. We kind of talked about this a little bit in the Jay segment, but whatever, buddy. If Jay Happ does get traded at the end of the season, any thoughts on what the Jays could get back for him?
I think like 2 middle-level prospects.
Or one high prospect?
Or depending how high, I guess. I mean, you're not going to get a team like if you're trading to the Phillies with a team with a good prospect pool, you're not going to get their top 3 prospect for J Happ.
Right.
You might get a top 20 and maybe a top 30 for them, but I don't know if you'll get any big guys.
Yeah. I'm totally agree with you. So we answered Chatterbox Reviews' question about the whole who are you giving up for Kawhi. That was a great question, man. Yes, thank you. Okay, and then last question, George Diaz David.
That's Jorge. Isn't it?
Oh, Okay.
Jorge Diaz David. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If I screwed that up, I apologize in advance. But
Okay. Do you think Kawhi Leonard will be a Raptor next season?
I'm going to say one word. Yes.
I don't think so. You say yeah, I say no.
Hey,
You've been wrong many times on this podcast, sir.
So have you, sir.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, guys, anyways, thank you for the questions. We do really appreciate it. Sorry, I'm just, but we appreciate We
appreciate all your guys' support every single week.
I was thinking about something.
Next week, though, it'll not be the same day, but it'll be Thursday afternoon.
I love how he just tells me this on air.
Yeah, just got to keep you on your toes. Come on.
What day?
Thursday afternoon.
Well, I'm busy then.
No, you're not.
Just kidding.
I know you're not.
So it's Thursday
afternoon. Yeah, Thursday night, regular time, but just on Thursday.
Thursday afternoon.
It's a regular day, like today.
Okay.
It's a Thursday.
All right.
Not a problem.
I love those little surprises you always
give me. Why not? Yeah, just keep you on your toes a little bit. But hey, you know what? For me, I'm gonna have a kickback week, I guess. I don't have a video to do till Friday unless the Leafs or Raptors do anything.
He's going to be sitting back with a little brewski.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a nice one. That's going to be
Especially it's so hot in Toronto, guys.
Yeah, get out there. Have a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I know it's the middle of the week and people have work and all that stuff. But
or some people don't have work.
Kids are off for the summer sometimes.
Yeah.
Kids, people are off for the summer times.
Yeah.
And,
or just some people just don't work at all.
Some people don't work and they just, stay at home and watch Jays games and all that stuff.
And ask you questions.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's always a good time.
Exactly.
Time.
Well, guys, if you have not followed James's Twitter, follow that. If you've not followed my Twitter, follow that. Follow James's main channel, the Sports Talk, on YouTube. Follow the podcast channel on YouTube. If you haven't, follow us on iTunes. If you're listening to that already on iTunes, thank you very much.
Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff, guys. The links are all in the description below.
Yeah, send them a lot of DMs.
Yeah, why not? I mean, but Evan and I will talk to you guys next Thursday.
So you're not making a video? No. So the next Jays game would be
Friday.
Night. So I guess you're not making a video.
No,
until
nothing Tuesday, nothing Wednesday,
this is rare.
Thursday. This
so
is
next
weird.
time you're going to be speaking to them, podcast edition. No, you said Friday. Oh,
this coming Friday.
This coming Friday, not next Friday.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
So Evan and I will be talking to you guys next Thursday as
regular
Kawhi Leonard, maybe. It'll be a week and a half, or a week and a few days. You never know what can happen in that time.
Probably nothing, but we can only hope.
You never know. We're gonna have to wait and see. And I will talk to you guys, like Evan said, Friday as the Jays open up the second half of the season. Good news, Jays fans! You play the Orioles. I'm just gonna leave it there. All right. So Evan and I, we appreciate all your guys' support each and every week, and we will talk to you guys next Thursday.
Peace.